So,
Hi, Annette.
hi, Jeff. You know, you've been here for almost a week now, and
Yeah.
we've had some wonderful mental coaching supervision classes
Mm-hmm.
and the workshop with Karen.
Yeah, we've had a good week.
Yes. And, you know, some of the things that we've actually been working on, I think have been really interesting things that we've been having feedback on and discussions about. That's presence.
Yeah.
And I was thinking maybe we could talk a little bit about presence and different ways of being present, because it's so important for what you can actually have happen in the coach session, the way the coach is present.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, you know, it's a toss-up whether listening or presence is most important.
Yes.
You know, and they both are connected. And but I think there's also, presence is really misunderstood. You know, what is coaching presence? And I think sometimes it's difficult because we don't really have language to talk about what presence is. And so we talk about just being.
Yes.
And while, you know, and not, you know, having distractions, not multitasking.
Yes, yes,
exactly. What is, you know, how do you be present? Well, that's kind of the first cut. That's the first layer of presence, is just putting your attention on somebody.
Yes.
But that's just the very beginning. You know, because and it's how are you going to be present? And a lot of your presence is determined by your intention.
Yes.
And the intention you're holding.
Yes.
And how you're being conscious about your presence. So presence isn't just, you know, staring at somebody.
No, and not thinking about other things like your list of what you have to buy, groceries. Because
and it's like this. I explain it like this. So you know when someone is angry, even if you can't see their face.
Yes.
Because you can feel it.
Yes.
You know someone is happy. You know, because you can feel it. You know when you walk into a group at a party that they've been talking about something they've all of a sudden shifted the conversation and it's uncomfortable.
Yes.
So that's our common experience of presence, and there's an energy to presence that we can feel. There's also, what most people don't understand, is we can very consciously direct our presence in terms of our energy through our intention.
Yes.
So how I am present with a client can vary dramatically. So first I have to show up.
Yes.
I have to be there. But my presence could be just really laid back and laissez-faire, and there's, you know, kind of nothing that's holding the client.
Yes.
So there's, you know, it's almost like there's nothing to push against.
Yes.
Or they don't feel held. But if I'm really clear about my presence and my intention is to really hold them.
Yes.
And I'm really conscious of holding them with my energy. You know, and you can even feel it when I choose to do that here. When we're talking, you can feel the difference.
Yes, you can.
You know, and then if I not only choose to have a holding, but then to really connect with the person from a heart place. You know, and when you start getting that connection, can you feel that difference? And you can feel if my heart is open, or if I close it.
Yeah.
Feel that shift? And you couldn't tell me probably what it was if you weren't aware.
No.
But it makes a profound difference. So just this week we had that experience of somebody doing really great technical coaching.
Yes.
The right questions. You know, they were there, they weren't, you know, and you can, you know, like presence, like the dog's presence. She's right here.
Yes.
You know. Not the coach being a dog. But,
No.
but just doing, you know, textbook kind of coaching.
Yes.
But it wasn't connecting.
No.
And so I asked them to stop, just notice where their energy was centered, and it was all up here. And I ask them to be intentional about their presence and to do it in a different way.
Yes.
To hold the person and really connect from here with the person and consciously do that. She took a moment to do that, and all of a sudden the client was in tears.
Yes.
And they were connected with what was important.
Important in this session.
Nothing had been said.
Yes.
Only the energetic presence of the coach had shifted and was very intentional.
Yes.
So I see presence as really an invitation.
Yes.
And I think how you be present offers an invitation to the person. If you're distracted, the invitation is very limited and closed.
Yes.
So you get to determine how open that invitation is. And you have to calibrate. Is your invitation too big for the client, and do they start shutting down?
Yes. Is it too much for them?
Or is it just right? And it doesn't. And then you have to shift your presence as you move along, because you really have to meet the client with your presence, not just your language, not just the words, but with your intention and your presence. You need to meet them where they are, and then you can open up a larger invitation with how you're being with them, as well as the questions you're asking.
Yes.
But they need to go hand in hand.
Exactly. And I think also when you then experience that the invitation is taken and then you meet each other, then you can have the dance, then you can have the partnership to really create something in the moment.
Because it's not just you being present.
No.
They're present in some way too.
Yes.
And as a coach, you need to be aware of how they're present. And you have to be aware of the presence the two of you are creating. Because you do create something together.
Yes.
And you find a level or a synchrony in how you're being present in the energetic flow. And you know, some people might say, well, that energetic flow, it's kind of woo-woo.
Yes.
Well, I might have said that 10 years ago, but it's the only way to describe what I observed happening over and over again.
Yes, exactly.
So
I think that's just one, many other things that are interesting, but I also find something interesting and that is that sometimes the coach also must be a little bit courageous to walk one step further than the client might meet something that they really want to go, and they know it's the way to go, but they're a little bit afraid of what is coming or what will happen. And I think sometimes that in that presence the coach can also be a little courageous on behalf of the client.
They have to be, because if the coach gets afraid,
everything will.
There's no longer permission, even if the client wants to go.
Yes.
Because I've seen it where the client is ready to go, but because the coach is afraid, they withdraw their presence, and there's no longer permission. There's no invitation, and so the client never jumps where they want to jump.
Exactly, because the coach is not ready to jump with them.
And it's just on the other side, when the client is there and you can know that they want to go, but they're afraid, then in a way, bringing your presence to support them, but also a harder edge.
Yes, a little bit.
And that, in a way, you're jumping first and saying, come on.
Yes, come on.
Yeah.
Let's take this jump together.
And part of that is, you know, a big piece. I mean, you can say it, but if you aren't there, never going to happen.
No.
So you have to, the presence precedes the words.
Yes.
The invitation precedes the movement.
Yes.
And then you can engage with the language to move in that direction as well.
Yes.
So it's not what we usually think it is.
No.
And it's usually below the level of awareness for most coaches. Kind of the nuances and the how refined you can be with your intention. So I think it's, you know, absolutely essential.
Yes.
And being clear in how you prepare as a coach, how you're going to hold your client, what your intention is for your presence, not just for the session.
No, for your presence.
Yeah.
And will shape what will.
And that's where you know also, in being aware of your presence and theirs, what's happening in the space between you, which tells you more than what they're saying.
Yes.
You know, and it doesn't lie.
No, it doesn't. It can't.
It can't. It just is.
It can't.
It reveals what's happening.
Yes, exactly. It's very interesting.
Yeah. So it's fascinating, and I think it's something that I don't know what the limits are.
No.
Haven't found them.
No.
There's always more to learn in that area. So I'm passionate about pursuing that even further.
So let's invite you back.
I think,
so we can work more with this
yeah.
over the next,
and
many years.
so I think, you know, some of the work with carrying home with the music is fabulous, because the music helps reveal what's there in a way that's more tangible.
Yes, makes it more like visible, or something
it helps.
You can actually...
It helps to make the invisible visible, adding the music to it.
Yes.
And it's fabulous.
Yes, it was really fantastic to experience that.
So I'm really excited about that part of the work.
Yes.
And you know, bringing that way of seeing and being with clients even further for coaches and for the clients.
Yes.
Because that's where we really have the impact, is how we be present.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So let's go out and change the world being present.
We'll do that.
Yes, we'll do that.
And I always love that in English, the two meanings of present. You know, there's being present, but then there's the gift. And when you're present,
you are a gift.
You offer a gift.
Yes, exactly.
So.
Thank you, Jeff, for sharing that.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yes. Thank you.
That wasn't bad.